up quick at about noon. Just thought that I had to be in Compton soon. I gotta get drunk before the day begins, before my mother starts bitching about my friends. About to go and damn near went blind. Young nigga at the pad throwing up gang signs. Ran in the house and grabbed my clip with the Mac 10 on the side of my hip. Bailed outside and pointed my weapon. Just as I thought, the fools kept stepping. Jumped in the foe, hit the juice on my ride. I got front and back and side to side.
Welcome to another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show. I'm your host, Dave Duenas. Okay, let's get down to it. Let's talk about an upcoming fight. Ricky Hatton versus the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi out of New York. Okay, really, this is kind of a fight that really hasn't been put up a lot of hype. I think if anything, this is like this is the kind of fight that you can compare having the flu, where you know you got it, you want to get rid of it, and you'll put anything together to just get rid of it and get past it and move on to something else. You know, where you don't even want to hear about it anymore. And I think a lot of people are feeling about that, about with the Paulie fight and stuff. I know I am. I mean, there's bigger and better fights out there for Ricky Hatton. Paulie's a great fighter, you know, great talker and stuff, but I think we already know the outcome of that fight that's going to happen. But I wouldn't be doing a show right now talking about this fight if there wasn't a little bit of spark of interest, okay? Where maybe having the flu is not that bad, you know, because then you get to stay home and don't go to work and all that, and you can just lounge a little bit back in the pad and stuff. So that's what we got to kind of look at with the Paulie Malignaggi fight. Can he bring a little magic on that special night? Well, let's go back what happened with Ricky Hatton when he faces Juan Lozano. He's had his moments. And really, if you're a really true fight fan, meaning that you're just not rooting for the guy because you're a fan of him. Being a fan of the sport is being a true fan of boxing, because then you understand the sport, okay? I'm a big fan of many fighters, but I also understand that sometimes there's somebody out there that's got their number, or maybe they need to brush up on a little bit of their skills on a certain particular thing that they don't normally do. So it makes them vulnerable to be beaten, right? So let's talk about when Hatton walked in with Juan. Now, Juan had him in some really shaky moments, and realistically, you know, Hatton kind of had some help with the ref. You know, he got dropped, the ref didn't count it, you know, hey, your shoe's untied. Just so many things played out for Hatton. Now, was it Hatton that created this? No, not really, because you know what, if anything, I think we've seen it, that Hatton is a very down-to-earth, very humble fighter, okay? He understands the fight game, you know, and if it was up to him, he would have, you know, gave himself an 8 point on that round, or give himself an 8 standing point, you know, and he always gives props to the guy that he fights, all right? So, now, Paulie having pillows for fists, can he hurt Hatton? I don't know. You know what? Juan is not a very devastating puncher. You know, he's a good puncher. He's a decent puncher. But to say that he has a lot of power behind his punches, that's saying a little bit too much for Lozano, okay? So with Paulie, you know, Paulie not really ever being able to rock anybody, and is more of a stylistic fighter. You know, this is a guy that goes in and tries to look good and do what he needs to do, and knowing that he's got to go all 12 rounds in order to get a decision, okay? So with that being said, do you really think the Magic Man is going to pull anything out of the extraordinary on that particular night? No. If anything, you're going to look for him to try not to make the same mistake that he did with the Cotto fight, okay? Or the same mistake that he did with the Lamorse fight that he had with his little dreads and he having little haircut problems and stuff, right? So, him going in with the Hatton fight, you're going to see him a little bit more attentive, more afraid to really mix it up with Hatton. Because in the previous times, he's mixed it up and he's gotten in trouble. He even got hurt a few times, okay? So with him doing that with Ricky, I really don't see that happen. So him hurting Ricky, I doubt it. Because if anything, he's going to be punching, but not sitting on his punches. He's going to be looking to counter over Ricky, but not really trying to land combinations. It's going to be more like pot shots, okay? So when Ricky throws a punch, he's going to slip it, come back, over the top of Ricky, hit him, and really roll out of there. Get away from any type of danger when it comes to facing Ricky Hatton. Now, Ricky Hatton's job is to just go back to what he normally does best, is maul his way in the fight and really just bang him up, hit him to the body, hit him in the arms. He's got to really slow down Paulie in order to have a really good, successful night, all right? He's got to cut the ring. He's got to really show why Paulie is being really overlooked. Okay, why really everybody is going to be singing Blue Moon in this fight until they're blue, because they know Ricky's going to walk out of there victorious, right? So Paulie is just going to have to really be on his toes, do what he normally does best, and he's going to have to give Hatton a boxing clinic. Now, is that possible now that Hatton's kind of really been a little bit tarnished? You got to really say that he's been dropped a notch or two, and we haven't really seen if he can make a full comeback yet, So it's really possible that Paulie takes a win. It's not unheard of that something happens like that, where Ricky can have another off night, or he's just not comfortable again in the ring, or his mind is still stuck with the December 8th fight with Floyd Mayweather, where he's not even concentrating on the fights that are in front of him or the future fights that are ahead of him, okay? He could be really stuck in time. So hopefully he found himself a time machine, jumped in there, came all the way down over here in the present time, and has gotten his shit together so that he can be victorious, walk through Paulie like he would have done if he would have faced him when the time he had faced Costa Zoo. He would have walked through a Paulie, really just put him out, and there would have been bigger and better fights, okay? Particular fights, like I said before, is good fights. A tuna fight, and really you wouldn't even consider a tuna fight, is him and Zab Judah, okay? For the mega fight, it's Manny Pacquiao. That to me is a better fight. That to me brings a lot of excitement to the game, okay? Is two guys that are really go toe-to-toe, face forward all the time, and really are not looking to slip any kind of punches. Occasionally will pull back, but then come right back forward and stuff, They don't know how to just back up away from each other. These guys are two guys that have big corners. They're going to come right at each other and collide, and that's a fight that we want to see. Do we really want to see him facing the Magic Man, pulling out his little tricks out of his hat, hard pivoting, pulling back most of the night, running back to the ropes, and then jogging himself out of there? I don't think that's why it's generated so much popularity, where you hear a lot of American fans, UK fans, Mexican fans, Puerto Rican fans going, hey, this is going to be an exciting fight, So that being said, my pick is Hatton, but I think it's going to be a very boring fight. But the fact of the matter is I'm a fight fan. I live for boxing. There can be anything on Telemundo, Galavisión, YouTube, or even amateur. My son's in the amateur fight game and stuff, or anybody, I watch it because that's how much I love the sport, and like Blood Boxing said, my boy Blood, he mentioned it, hey, we're all a fam. So just like how he put it, I'm going to put it back to everybody that's subscribed or new subscribers, or if you're barely watching, so the first time watching the show, Midnight Boxing, Blood Boxing, those are my boys, the Body Banger homeboy over there and stuff. Subscribe to these guys, because if anything, it's funny, you hear that boxing is dead, but it's been more alive than anything else, and it's living proof when you get on YouTube and you log up boxing, you see all these boxing shows just popping up, okay? And you got to support them. You got to let people know that boxing is here, and it's not going to go anywhere, and this is one of the greatest sports that's ever been invented, okay? It is also one of the most difficult sports to be in, okay? Because boxing is a test of will. It is a way of expressing yourself and pushing the limit. How far can you mentally, physically, and spiritually go? Anyways, I'm your host, Dave Duenas, and this was another edition of the Will Be Blood Fight Show. Tune in again. I am going to put up another vid, so I wasn't going to take that long like I have. I've just been really busy working and stuff, so I hope you're glad that I'm back.